Here we are back. Tribunal came out this week. We also got some crazy stuff with Ghost Spider. The season of Move may be happening. We got Dekkster here. We got myself. What's up, Dekkster?
So you can call me Which Rivals Champion.
That's what I hear. And by here, I mean I saw it firsthand. I saw you crush it. Crip actually pulled it out. Like, that was an insane tournament. We'll talk about it a little bit later for sure. But congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. So we also have a few other things that we wanted to just talk about later in the podcast too. Like Conquest got announced, a lot of cool details there, meta trends. They've made some high MMR fixes, talk about rivals, and maybe they're doing some changes soon. So we'll talk about some maybe changes that they might be doing. And then some cool stuff that's come out outside of Snap. Who knows?
Yeah.
And how we have so little time. But yeah, on this earth, no.
No.
To play all these games.
It's true. It's true.
All right,
but it's
so
morbid.
I mean, it's just we gotta spend every moment we have playing Snap. All right, so we have the Living Tribunal. Did pretty awful in my experience. I don't know about you. Tell me your Tribunal experience.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these stats we have here, on is this Untapped? He's at negative 0.15 cubes on average. We got a win rate of 43.1%. Popularity, well, 0.7% because no one really picked him up because he's 6,000 tokens, but he's pretty dang bad in our experiences so far. It's definitely possible there's a deck out there that we just haven't discovered yet. There is one in particular that's been floating around the Twitter sphere that I called the Losing Tribunal. Yeah, this deck with Living Tribunal, it's got Iron Lad, Iron Man, Living Tribunal, and then basically the dream is you Iron Lad, you hit the Iron Man, you play the Iron Man, maybe you somehow cheated out some energy and you can get Onslaught out as well, so just a huge lane stacked on that Iron Man, and then you play Living Tribunal and you just spread it and you win. And it honestly happens more than you might think, where you just maybe wave an Onslaught and Iron Man into Living Tribunal.
Yeah.
My win rate was 50%. If you're looking, you can see my negative cubes of 16, but I threw a lot. Where I was just like, all right, Iron Lad has to hit this 1 in 3. And if it does, I win 8 cubes. If it doesn't, I lose 8 cubes. And I went for the content play, and I hoped he would hit and he would miss every single time. Or, you could do like, okay, Jubilee needs to hit Odin, and then if Odin gets hit, it's going to re-trigger the Jubilee, and then that's going to pull Living Tribunal, and then I'm going to win. Yeah, so that's why my cubes are negative. But this deck is actually, it feels fine. I think it feels fine. It definitely feels like you're reaching, like you're really trying to make Living Tribunal work.
Yeah.
So if you got him randomly, yeah, it's definitely some copium. If you got him randomly, I think this is the best build so far. And this is from, I don't know if it's D-Money or Revis. I don't know who really made it, but solid list. Not awful, but I would say it's maybe like a tier 2, bottom of tier 2, top tier 3 at best. I wouldn't call this a tier 1 list.
Yeah.
So
my experience with Tribunal is kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like the list, you have this list here, and it's just a ramp list. Like it's just an Electro Doom Odin list that you like throw in the couple of Living Tribunal, because like you said, Iron Lad, Iron Man, Living Tribunal, and you try and make it work. And I feel like it's just, you put Tribunal in a deck that already exists and you just make it worse. It's just like you had a good deck and you just like have a different kind of win condition that is just like harder to pull off consistently. Like I ran a lockdown Tribunal list that was trying to make some things work, just because like when you lock down locations, that's a little bit better to try and spread out your power because there's no more power that can be added to those, but Tribunal can. So, and then I also did like a Lockjaw list, like a Lockjaw Thanos list. That's also just like a good list. Yeah, it did pretty well. I think that was my best list, but it's just like, it's just a strong list. Like most of the time I was winning, Tribunal wasn't on my board. So it's just like, I think,
yeah, I was
going to say, made it better.
I think Tribunal ends up feeling almost like a tech card, where it's like,
yeah,
okay, like they lock this lane down, or like it's a, I don't know, Necrotia, and I want to spread my power over there. I'm going to play Living Tribunal and just stack 1 lane or 2 lanes and then just spread them into 3 at the last turn. But he's so expensive.
Yeah, 6,000 tokens. I would say definitely not worth it. Like the tech card, I think it's like specifically good against lockdown lists, and that's like its #1 benefit. Like I saw a bunch of screenshots from people on Twitter, and most of them that they're like, Tribunal's good, whatever. It's like they were playing against a lockdown list. And it's like, yeah, sure. When you're playing against the one deck it's good against, it's going to feel good. And they like people have put it into like hella decks and negative lists, and Mr. Negative lists. And I think like sure it feels like less RNG when you like play out your hella combo and you can spread out your power so you don't get like your Infinite and your other big cards all in one lane when you like pull them back with hella or whatever. Or Mr. Negative, you can spread out your big Iron Man plays. But I feel like with those lists, when they go off, you already win most of the time anyway. So you're increasing your odds of winning maybe like 2% when you go off for the chances of going off going down. I don't know. So it's like, I feel like it's not necessarily worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Even in those lists, but yeah.
Don't overall, buy this one. 6,000 tokens, not worth.
Don't buy it. One of the worst. I'm kind of curious. I think it's like worse than Howard. Like,
yeah, pull up Howard. I think Howard's not negative. Like Howard's okay. He's just like not really worth.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Howard the Duck is 48.9. Not bad.
That's pretty less bad. It's not great, but it's less bad.
Yeah, it's by not bad I mean like it's not 40 whatever, you know. It's not.
What's
43.
HE?
Oh, that's got to be like 54 at least. I feel like I think it's got to be something up there. It is 53. All right, yeah, it's close.
Yeah. So if you're looking to spend your tokens, you should go with High Evolutionary or maybe Jeff
for sure.
Or maybe Iron Lad, but not Living Tribunal. So only play those Tribunal decks if you happen to like get them in a cache or whatever.
Or maybe one of the new cards that are coming out this next month. This next month seems kind of cracked. I'm not gonna lie.
Exciting.
A lot of cool stuff. Exciting stuff. As exciting as High Evolutionary, I don't know, but it is like a new archetype. And by new, I mean like one that hasn't really existed in the meta. Move is coming out, I feel like, for the first time, because the move decks right now are like at the bottom of the meta right now. So we're gonna see Ghost Spider coming out as a season pass card. The last card you played moves here, a 2/3. I think that's that card alone, I think, is very interesting. You could play this outside of a mood deck and it's still good. Like, have you thought about this card at all?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is going to be very good in movement decks, but also can kind of just be a tech card where you just debate your opponent. Like, oh, I'm going deep on the right lane or the left lane. And the next thing, you know, you just Ghost Spider it over all the way to the right. You know, this can be played with a big card. I don't know. You play a Namor. And you put it in one lane, and then you put a different card on top of it, and you pull it away with Ghost Spider, and then you won. You know, that's a kind of a bad example, but you know, it's exciting. I like Ghost Spider. Maybe a bit of a card that's played just across the board, not just in movement, which I think a lot of people are expecting.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll be like too played outside of movement. I think you'll need at least 1 or 2 movement like cards with it to make it like actually better value, I think, because it does, like, there are cards that exist today that can like move your stuff, like Doctor Strange, but this one is a little bit more targeted than Doctor Strange in the sense that like you can specifically move the last card that you played. So I feel like Doctor Strange is like you have to like manipulate like what your highest power card is, so it's a little bit easier. And it's the same power as Doctor Strange, and it's 1 less. So yeah, I think it'll be more played than Doctor Strange outside of movement. But I think if you throw in one of the new cards, Spider-Man 99, which is coming out later in the season, the first time this moves to a location, destroy an enemy card. So you can now combo this with Ghost Spider. And Spider-Man 99 is coming in at a Series 4 cost card immediately when it drops. So that means that you can get this for cheaper, right? So if you can pick up the season pass, you can pick up Ghost Spider, and you can pick up Spider-Man 99 for only 3,000 tokens. So that's a
And
good combo right there.
these can both be played on the last turn, you know, if you just want to snipe one particular card on turn 6, you could do a Spider-Man Ghost Spider. So pretty cool.
You get nine power and snipe a card. That's a much better gambit, you know?
Yeah, just don't miss.
Just don't miss. Yeah, that is one of the things is like any decks that run any small cards, like sitting in a lane with something is like makes Spider-Man 2099 a huge gamble. So I think it will be hard to make this card super useful, but there will be some decks out there that this will crush. So we'll have to see.
Is there a card that destroys something random in one lane? I know there's Gambit, but that's across all 3 lanes.
Nothing random, I don't think. I don't like there's only like Shang-Chi and Gambit that even like destroy. There's Shang-Chi, Gambit, and Negasonic.
I guess it's Electra. Electra can hit a 1-drop in that lane, right? So
it's a random 1-drop.
I think it's a random 1-drop.
It is a random 1-drop. Yeah. Okay. That's
so I guess it's kind of like that. Yeah. Well, then, I hope it don't miss.
That makes sense. All. Never miss. We'd never miss this. And then the last move card that's coming out in the season is Silk, which I think might be the best move card, but it's also the one they left at Series 5, which I guess maybe they also agree with me that's the best move card. It's a 2/5, and I have a history of loving 2/5s. Like they nerfed my favorite one, which was Mysterio, and they just nerfed the other 2/5 Lizard recently. So
yeah, this looks really good. It's a horizontal Titania. After any card is played here, it moves to another location. So costs one more. You get to keep it. It's going to be on your side until you hit a Juggernaut or something, or you hit a Fisk's Tower or whatever it's called. Silk looks great. Maybe with Craven, you know, juicing up the Craven, constantly jumping around. I think it'd be a lot of fun to just constantly be shifting your power across all the lanes. Maybe, you know, playing Jeff and playing Nightcrawler and playing Ghost Spider. I don't know. That's the fun thing about movement decks. Everyone's loved movement decks in the past. They've just been kind of mediocre. I remember like Pool 2, they were actually solid. But once you hit Pool 3, it's like it fell off. There was just nothing. So hopefully we see a revitalization of that archetype. And yeah, I love archetypes that are hard to master, but are very rewarding if you get good.
Yeah, I think that Silk itself will just be like too much power to give up in a movement deck, and like you said, moving around Craven, all the other cards. I think it'll be one of the best cards of the meta. Hopefully, all these cards together, Move will be back and Busted. I think it'll be really good. Maybe Busted. I don't know if it'd be High Evolutionary Busted. I don't even know if we consider that Busted. You want to look at the meta, see what we're working with?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's take a look. So we're filtering for the latest patch, 3,000 plus, ranked 70 to 99, our classic meta breakdown look. And it looks like we have, for the top played decks, High Evolutionary went down a bit. It was at like 24% when it first came out, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm curious to see when the new patch drops and we get the new latest patch, how much lower High Evolutionary will go.
Look up Control. I think Control might be...
Control's up here at 11.2. You think this had... Oh, it does have High Evo. Wait, why does High Evo in this... I guess Control High Evo is one of the most played High Evo decks. So I guess they just split it out a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, so Control High Evo runs High Evolutionary, Hulk, Wasp, Cyclops, and then you kind of just lock a lane down with Spider-Man in the most popular build. Some of these are running X, but X maybe not as good if you can, when you Doom, you can't go in that X lane, but you can't go into Spider-Man lane.
I've been thinking about cutting X, from my list. Yeah. I've noticed I always want a Spider-Man when I have both of them, so it's hard to get X to work unless the only time you really want X is if there's like a location that like kills your stuff, like Death's Domain or something like that. So I feel like it's really not as good.
Because you could still get into those lanes with your Jeff, with your Doom, but it's yeah,
this was my best High Evo list. Well, a lockdown list, not this exact list, but Lockdown I think was my best High Evo list that I had created and had the best results with. I made a video about it as well.
I think Lockdown was great.
Yeah, Lockdown was great. and it's the second most played archetype, or third most, I guess. Galactus, still high in the meta. And they actually tweeted about, and by tweet I mean they responded to some people's things about Galactus having weakish stats, but at the same time, it is remaining too popular. So they've said they're reviewing ways to adjust it, and then they recently said, oh yeah, I guess they said like there was a couple things that they had considered, like always having priority. They rejected those, but they have said they are currently reviewing ways to adjust it. So it sounds like his play rate hasn't subsided as we'd hoped, they said, and we've reviewed ways we can adjust to better accomplish our goals. So it sounds like a change is coming, and we'll have to wait and see what that change actually ends up being.
Galactus haters can maybe rejoice.
Yeah, finally they will be able to not, I guess, it like Galactus has been trending like on my Twitter feed, like literally shows up like trending for you kind of thing. Like, because so many people want to complain about him. So maybe that'll stop after the Galactus change. We'll have to see. They've said that they don't want to leader cards anymore, aka put them in the trash bin after the fact. So I feel like the change to Galactus will hopefully be not trash bin tier, but still like stop a lot of people's concerns about it being a card that's too polarizing.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be good. It feels bad to play against, even though I don't think it's personally much of a problem because he's so easy to counter. People hate him. He's a feels bad card for a lot of people. So I guess it's worth
my exact thoughts with like leader back in the day. I also didn't think it was a problem, but it was a feels bad card. I'm like, fine, let's give it a nerf.
Negative fun in general. So
yeah, I think leader right now, speaking of leader, I think it's in a decent state where like it feels like a decent tech card to put into a deck, and it doesn't feel too bad, and it's not too good that you like feel too bad losing to it. So yeah, I think they did a good job with the buff to it recently. So
yeah, he seems fair and a little underplayed maybe, but yeah, I think the main problem right now is people play Hulk, and you copy the Hulk, but your Hulk is not as big because you didn't float like they did. So
yep, that's very true. But yeah, I think those three decks seem to be, by three I mean kind of two, with high evo and control being like one thing maybe. But Lockjaw rounding out the list is like a top played deck with
this just Jane Jaw, I think.
Just Jane Jaw, yeah, that's crazy. It's almost 6%. Sarah Surfer still good. Sarah Control still good. That's like Hit Monkey, I assume. Yep. Sarah Control with Kitty Pride. And then Bounce, also Kitty Pride, Hit Monkey. So I guess those two are very similar, like the Bounce and the Sarah Control. Sarah Control is just more of a last turn dump, or Bounce, I guess, is kind of a last turn dump, but you're like bouncing the cards at the same time to get them back. It's a different kind of discount, right?
Right. Did I see Cerebro 2 up there as well? I think towards the bottom of B.
Yeah, it's very underplayed. So
and the win rate's not that great. How did that get up there?
Did you make a video about it?
No, I didn't. But I was thinking maybe I should play C2 because Luke Cage is good.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, but
I think stature, I think, is the big thing that used to be super highly played and super high win rate. I think they did a good job nerfing it. Made it more in line with like just an okay deck that's just like not completely busted. Like I think it's been.
I think it's a pretty good deck still, but it is underplayed. Yeah. What, 4 or 5 cards got nerfed on this thing? We got Stature, Enchantress, Rockslide, and Black Bolt all going down 1 power, which
that's a lot. Yeah,
that's 4.
And Darkhawk too, like from what it originally was, went down 1 power. So it's like it contains 5. And
Zabu also got nerfed. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so 6 nerfed cards in one deck. Imagine if they were at their full power.
Yeah, well, we lived that era, and it was just way too good. So, it seems like removing a couple power really does shake up the meta. But this is kind of similar to last week. There wasn't an OTA this week, so not too much has really changed. There will be, yeah, but last week there was nothing. But now there's going to be new season and an OTA. I think they're just going to keep buffing underplayed cards and nerfing overplayed cards till they find a fine balance, kind of like they did with Black Bolt and Stature. I think like the Stature deck is still pretty good. It's underplayed, I think, at the moment. But you're removing one power off of the top two cards. Like it did a lot. It's crazy, but also High Evolutionary came out at the same time. So I'm curious to see how the deck would perform in the current meta with its full power. I kind of wish the two cards didn't get nerfed, because actually this before the nerf to Stature and Black Bolt, the deck wasn't that popular because of High Evolutionary. I think there was like a couple days when HE came out, and we didn't really get to see those two decks commingle. Yeah, so this would have been interesting for sure.
For sure, interesting.
So what do I expect? Yeah, I guess underplayed cards getting +1, and overplayed cards getting -1.
I'm fine with that, actually. I think it's good to shake it up. But and speaking of shaking it up, there's a whole new game mode coming out, actually. And it's coming out in the next patch, not when the season drops, but I think it's in like two or 3 weeks. I don't know, 2 weeks, I think, for the patch. I'm not exactly sure. But we get to see Conquest Mode, which we talked about in an earlier podcast, but now we have a lot more details. So you want to we can talk about these real quick. So
yeah, been hyped about Conquest Mode. This has been a long time coming. It's gonna be where you basically build a deck and you take it to a friendly battle mode with other people, but it's not a friendly battle mode. It's an unfriendly battle mode.
Unfriendly battle.
Where you're competing to try and win, and when you win, you earn tickets to progress to a new or advance to a new, I don't, what do you call them, tier, I guess. And you're also earning currency.
Leagues, I guess.
Yeah, a new, that's a league. So you win one, it's free. Okay, you start in the Proving Grounds. It's free entrance, right? If you win, you get a little bit of currency, which is a new currency called medals, and then you get a silver ticket. You can use that silver ticket to progress to the next one called Silver Conquest. From there, you need to win 2 in a row. And if you win those 2, you get a gold ticket as well as 120 medals. You go to Gold Conquest, and in Gold Conquest, you have to win 3 in a row, and you'll earn an infinity ticket as well as 370 medals. And then you can move on to the infinity one, Infinity Conquest, where you have to win 5 in a row. And if you win this, you're the best of the best. You're the creme de la creme. You get a infinity border for your avatar, which looks sick. And it's applied, I think, to the avatar you used when you won. And you can do this to all your avatars, I believe, as many times as you want. I mean, I guess once per avatar. But like, I don't know. I might try and get it on every single one of my avatars. I might see that as a challenge. Get it on all. I think I have 150 of them. So maybe I'll try and do that.
You counted your avatars?
Yeah, I think I have around 140 or 150. And
you're gonna try and get 150 of them. You think it's gonna be a different prize every? Because there's basically gonna be a season for each Conquest Mode, and there's gonna be a new thing every season. Like in this one, you get to unlock a Green Goblin variant for like buying things in the shop for using your medals that you've earned along the way. But each new season, do you think there's going to be a new like chase thing, or is it just going to be an infinity border thing every season? Like, I
feel like it's always going to be an infinity border. I think the thing that's going to change is that exclusive variant, but I'm not sure.
I mean, yeah, we have no details on that, but it's all speculation. So I think it could change, but I would hope it would change slightly, or maybe after like a couple seasons it would change at least, because at some point, I'm going to get bored of just like changing them all to infinity borders, because I'll have so many of them. It's going to lose its appeal. But I think at the beginning, it's very cool.
I think the exclusive card is really cool. What this actually reminds me of is, I guess a lot of games have it, but for me, it's World of Warcraft Arena, where you could, if you had a high enough rating in the arena, you would get an exclusive like weapon, kind of. So your weapon would look like really cool, and people would be like, "Oh shit, this guy has, 2200 rating or 2400 rating or whatever." That's kind of like what it's going to be like if you get this exclusive Green Goblin variant. People are like, wow, this guy games, this guy knows his stuff, this guy is a Twitch Rivals champion over here, So
Twitch Rivals champion.
I think it's gonna be really cool to flex these variants, which are gated by skill in a way. I don't think you have to be
kind of.
You don't have to be good enough to complete infinite in order to get this, you could just keep doing gold, or maybe even keep doing silver.
You can keep doing silver because you get 120 medals for silver for winning the 2 wins. So you have to win 3 wins in a row, basically. Not necessarily all in a row, because you can farm just a bunch of silver tickets from Proving Grounds and then play silver. You have to win 2 in a row for those with those tickets. You get 120 medals, and then you can turn it in at the shop, which you have to buy 9 things in the shop. It looks like, and it looks like they're like 300, 200, 200. Like there's a couple different. I think they're all around like 300. They start at 100. I think was the cheapest one. So you wouldn't have to win that many silver things to unlock 9 things in the shop, I feel like. So
yeah,
I think you could just farm silver. But yeah, bronze, you get 370 medals, which is over 3 times the value for, like, you get a free bronze win when you win silver anyway. So
the gold,
if you
gold,
win,
not bronze. But yeah. It's
sorry. Yeah, gold.
I think a lot of people will be able to farm these. So at the moment, the Proving Grounds is free. Hopefully it stays that way. I'm worried it won't.
Yep.
But your first ticket is free. So you can essentially do this all free to play. But I think the way they match you up is if you have a silver ticket, you're going to be playing against other people with silver tickets. So you might be playing against Dera, the Cerebro world champion.
Yeah.
And you're just
assume
low collection level. So
for these lower tiers, I would assume they use some form of MMR, and then as the tiers go up, they make it less and less MMR based, because I would assume they don't want the low Bs to get farmed by people like me in the Proving Grounds. So I think they'll do some sort of MMR in the lower tiers.
I do hope so, for like at least the first tier, maybe the second tier. There will be no bots here, right? So
that's what they said.
Just real people. It might be longer queues depending on what tier you're at. Maybe you're at infinite and you have to wait 10 minutes because no one's there. But yeah, the infinite ticket has to be used, I think, in the last week of the season.
Yeah. So speaking about Infinite League, yeah. So this Infinity Conquest only opens up in the last week of the season, so you can't even enter it. It's locked down. I think they do that specifically because queue times would be awful for it. So they want to basically make people farm all their Infinity tickets, and then the queue times will be okay for the last week. Because if you thought about it, like if you're trying to farm to Infinity and then you have to wait like 10 minutes to find someone else who queues an Infinity ticket, that'd be a bad experience. So it makes sense that they lock it down to 1 week.
It's gonna be so easy for people to snipe us. It's gonna be sad.
I'm a bit worried about that. I'm not gonna lie. It might be cookie time. I don't know. It's just like there's gonna be, since medals are on the line and like rewards are on the line, it's gonna be a lot of sniping, I think, for you and I at least.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm hoping people don't recognize me by my new name.
What's your new name?
I didn't choose it. My chat chose it, but it's Twitch Rivals Champ, which is also true.
Champ. That's crazy. You want to talk about that real quick? Let's talk about Twitch Rivals, the format.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was lovely. I thought it was great. I had a really
Is that
good
only
time.
Because you won?
No. It's not great? Because I won. It was a very unique format that I'd never seen in a card game. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've done it in like Magic or something in the past. But it was these deck building restrictions that they gave us that we didn't know about until 10 minutes prior. So they're like, okay, here's the deck building restrictions. You guys have 10 minutes to submit your deck. And then you're going to battle. And we did that round robin. There were 5 different teams. So you did it 5 times. Whoever got out with the most cubes, I think that's what it was, right? I don't completely, I won and then I just blacked out. I don't really know what happened. But I think it was like based off how much health you ended the battle with was a determining factor of if you won or not. Yeah, all
health
that
mattered between you and your teammates. So if one of your teammate won and one of your teammate lost, it was the health differential that took you to the end.
Yeah, so it was a really cool system, very unique. It challenged your deck building skills as well as your playing and your cube management. And if you made it to grand finals, which meant you were top 2 of the first portion, the round robin, that was no deck building restrictions, but we didn't really know that, I don't think, until it actually started. They're like, oh, no deck building restrictions. So I was like, okay, well, what deck do I want to bring? So yeah, but I only lost to one person in this whole tournament.
Who did you lose to?
I lost to a really good player. Their name was DeraJN.
DeraJN. He sounds like a great player.
Yeah.
Man.
Dera was the only person who beat me. I don't even remember what happened. Dera's like,
do you know what deck? Do you know what deck he brought against you?
I don't remember. Do you? I blocked that out of my memory. I was like, this was traumatizing.
I remember it was a tournament winning deck actually.
You wrote the mold. Yeah, mold them and fold them.
I did. I beat you with mold them and fold them against your. I think you had a high Evo list.
Yeah, so I think our deck building restriction when we played against each other was no cards could have the same amount of power.
No, it was 2 of each. So it was two of each energy. So you could only have up to 2 cards of each energy cost. So
yeah,
the one of each power was the hardest deck building restriction. For anyone who's listening, you had to only have 1 unique card of each power, like at most. So it was really hard to come up with like a normal style deck because there's 12 cards in your deck and you can't have any duplicates of the same power. So you can't have like 2 that have 6 power, 2 that have 3 power. And there's just so many cards that overlap at like some of those powers that you'd want in your deck. So you end up having to build like cards with really high power or like negative power, like goblins or something like that. So it's a unique deck building restriction.
It was fun.
Yeah. I ended up putting together a lockjaw list I thought was pretty good, but I had originally put like high Evo and stuff in there and I thought that'd be good. And then I cut it at the last second and then I forgot to cut some other cards because 10 minutes wasn't really enough for that one. So I ended up with a suboptimal deck with a Hulk that didn't need to be in my lockjaw deck. It was just like, but
it was crazy. There's actually like you had to put your chat in emote only mode. So there was no like talking with the chat, which
I know, I always cook with the chat,
it's because you forget about some cards that might interact well and your chat's firing off 20 different ideas at once. And you're like, right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Like I need a green goblin in here, or I needed debris. And it was like a slight oversight. So they kind of like jog your memory, I feel like. But this 10 minutes to build a deck with a restriction such as no 2 cards can have the same amount of power is a lot harder than you think. And if you have 10 minutes, it's hard. It's rough. And the time goes by so fast, especially if you're also building a deck for your teammate, which I was trying to build relatively straightforward decks because I had Kriparian on my team and he doesn't play a lot of Snap. He did fantastic and even had some great deck suggestions.
He beat Jeff in the finals, which is insane.
I told him Jeff likes to play bounce, put wave in your deck.
Yeah.
And he did.
I don't think he even had to wave to beat Jeff because he ended up winning an 8-cuber in the first match of the finals.
The story of that is so funny.
Oh, it's a great story. Like Crip thought that it was a best of 1, and by best of 1, he thought that meant like 1 game, not 1 Battle Bone match. So he thought that it didn't matter if they snapped or not. So like Jeff snapped early and Crip's like, all right, it's 1 game. We can both snap. It doesn't matter. And he just went into it with that mentality and it worked out for him.
Yeah. He thought it didn't matter if you won 2 cubes or 1 cube or 8 cubes, whoever won. So he just went in, Jeff snapped and he's like, all right, fuck it. So he just snapped back and he ended up winning. So I don't think when he won that match, he didn't really realize what had happened. So when we actually went in there and we were building the decks, Crip kept telling me, like, it doesn't matter. You just have to win 1. I'm like, what do you mean win 1? One round, 1 match? And he's like, I almost felt like he was getting frustrated with me. He was like, we just have to win 1. Do you still want me to bring this deck? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Just bring the same deck. But I'm glad I did.
It's a good deck.
Yeah, it worked out.
It was a crazy play like that he made on that turn too. Like a lot of people would have left like in his position, like not doing the math out. Like even the casters I was watching, like because there was a what's the name of that location? Power Nexus or something like that. That gives the power to all the other lanes. And Crip did the very rare play of winning the 2 other lanes without winning the Nexus. Like he which is really hard to do most of the time because you just like dump a bunch of power into the Nexus and it's really hard to win the other lanes. But he put enough power in the other lanes to win both of them. So that was a cool play to win the entire Twitch Rivals around, because your game didn't even end up mattering because Crip crushed Jeff.
It did matter. It mattered. So for the grand final, it was if Crip.
Oh, it did matter. That's true.
If Crip won and I lost, we would have a third match where it probably would have been me versus Jeff, because basically both teams would have gotten to choose who they wanted to go to the grand finals. So
send your champion, and you would send yourself.
Yeah, we both agreed that if we lose it, he's probably going to send me. So.
Yeah, I mean that would have been interesting for it to go to the final game, but I think winning decisively shows that you and Crip, you went out there and crushed it. You won all but one of your matches, I think, in the round robin. I think you lost to Jeff
you.
Only.
Oh yeah, the first round. Yeah, we lost to Jeff.
Yeah, because
Crip beat
you did
Nina,
lose to me,
to
but yeah, Nina ended up losing by a little bit too many cubes to Crip. Crip actually cracked, so
yeah.
That's the thing. Like I ended up winning, I think, 3 out of my 5 matches. Like I lost one to a Patriot mirror matchup where they teched in Rogue and I did not. That one was fun to play.
Wow.
That was to Hitachi. Shout out to Hitachi, who had only been playing Snap for a week and took me down, which is very impressive. So people pick up this game pretty fast, I feel like. So check out Snap.
Yeah, I think I played my Doctor Strange multiple man against Hitachi. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy match. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It was a good time. I really want to see more events like that instead of what we normally have. But I just like deck building, I guess.
I like deck building too. I think that's like me and you. We do that a lot on stream. So I want to see this format. I don't know what's like upcoming for like big Snap tournaments. I want to see more Twitch Rivals. Like I hope this like perform well enough that they're willing to put on more of them. Like maybe they would put one Twitch. Like there's usually some big Twitch Rivals events at TwitchCon. Maybe they could get Snap there. You know, second dinner.
Nice.
You know.
Yeah. Please. Second dinner.
Get Snap there. Yeah, but also hopefully Twitch Rivals again. Maybe Samsung will sponsor another one.
Yeah.
What did you think about playing on your phone?
I didn't like it. Was also rushed for me. I had a really bad experience with UPS where I had to, they tried to, my apartment complex is really confusing and they always mess up parcel delivery. And this was so last minute. They just, I think it was kind of like rushed on their behalf. They should have done it maybe a week ago. But I think with the holiday, they thought it was going to get delivered on Monday, but it was a holiday. So they had to deliver it on Tuesday, and Tuesday was tech check, and the event was on Wednesday. So they tried to deliver it on Tuesday. It wasn't delivered to my area, so it had to go to UPS. So I was just constantly talking to them, and I almost didn't make it to the tournament even, I think. But I had to Uber to UPS. I kept calling corporate UPS and local UPS and trying to locate the package. But I was able to Uber over there. Twitch Rivals gave me a Uber gift card.
Oh, wow.
I went over there.
That's nice, though. Nice.
I went over there, picked up the package, Ubered back. It was a disaster. This was all on the day of the tournament. I got back with like an hour to spare, which meant I had to figure out how to set up the phone for, with my account, but also with OBS and streaming and trying to make an overlay. It was a disaster. I wish I could have just played on Steam or on my normal
wish so too. No
device.
Deck tracker also.
Yeah, that was hard. So I actually used pen and pad to keep track of cards that people.
Try hard over here. Look at this.
I was like, money's on the line. I don't want to disappoint Criparian.
I know. I should have done that too, but I didn't. There was expectations in going into this. I feel like that Nina and I were gonna stop. So it's like I feel like if we had those expectations and I super try hard, it'd be a bad look. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
I think you still did great.
No, I think it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think I did pretty well. I think overall we could have, like, a lot of the reasons we ended up losing as bad as we did was like just very close margins. So it's like it could have easily flipped around and knew it could have been you and I in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah.
But we ended up second to last, which is not as good as I would have hoped, but it was still really fun.
Who got
But yeah,
third?
I think Hitachi and Sejam.
Wow. So Kibler got fourth. No,
Yeah.
fifth. Kibler got fifth. You got fourth.
No, I got fifth. I got fifth.
Oh, you got fifth.
Yeah, where's the standings? If you want to see the overall standings.
Group stage?
Group stage. Yeah, so the overall standings,
Oh,
Sejam
okay.
got third. They crushed it. They were the least experienced team, and they crushed it.
Yeah.
And then Kibler, they also did pretty well. Nina and I, surprisingly, we won half of our matches, so 5 out of 10, and we ended up looking way worse than I feel like that resembles. So we were like very close on so many of them, and we just lost by the cube differential because one of us won, one of us lost. So it was like very close. And then Nigalina and Shady Bunny, I was really surprised because our only win was against them. And I played against Shady Bunny, and I thought Shady Bunny was like playing really well. So I was like a little bit surprised that they didn't pull out one win. But sometimes it just doesn't go your way. It gets a little unlucky.
I think Shady was practicing with Collins a lot.
Yeah, he seemed really on top of things. Like the mind games and like his plays, like I felt like I couldn't predict what he was going to do because it felt like he was predicting what I was going to do. So it's just like it was a lot of mind games, I feel like.
I think that was the hard part against a lot of these players who are less experienced is you kind of expect them to do one play and they do something completely unpredictable, which you're like, what the heck? Like they should have played around this. So a lot of times in my head, if you go back and like watch my VOD, I'm just like, okay, they should be doing this, but do they know they should be doing this? So like, what do I even do at this point? Because I was like, all right, I'm playing against Shady. He's a little less experienced. Is he going to know what this card does or something like that? So like, does he know what this location does? Like, I feel like a lot of people were confused about locations. So it kind of added an extra layer where new players can just win because they kind of have that surprising factor.
Yeah, it's like poker too. It's very similar to poker. Like when you're playing against bad players, it's very hard to predict like what's going to happen, what the betting style is going to be. Are they going to stay or fold? So it's similar in Snap when you're playing against people that are newer to the game that don't necessarily know everything that they have to do or what they're playing around. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it for the Rivals thing. I just want to quickly touch on, there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out recently and I want to spend time doing it. It's just like I feel like there's not much time to snap and play all this other stuff. Like I haven't even got to play a lot of it. Like D4 just came out, Diablo 4. Set 9 for TFT is coming out. It's in PBE right now. There's like I hopped on the TFT public beta test server or whatever the PBE stands for. And there was a queue of 2 million people trying to play, and that's a queue to log in. Like they just had to queue it up because there's so much demand for people to want to play that they have to queue the people to log in because it's just that can't take everyone. So that game is super popular is one thing I've realized.
Yeah, I think TFT does really well. I haven't played it in a while, but every time I look at it, I'm like, oh god, like I could really lose my life to this game. I could really get deep in the weeds here, so I kind of like stay away from it. I think it's kind of like a hard drug where I'm like, all right, I don't want to touch that thing, man. I'm gonna lose hours to it. So instead, I'll just stick with my drug of choice, Marvel Snap.
Yeah, that's the thing. Snap right now, it's got some cool stuff coming this next season. I'm fine with playing a lot of that, but I'm trying to just like I like this like. For Diablo 4 as well, it feels like one of those games that you have to kind of know life a little bit. Oh, wow. I just logged back into TFT just real quick. It says I'm 3 million now in line to get it. It's going up. There's more people waiting.
Is this is this real? Are these bots? That's kind of crazy.
These are real people. There's been login issues just because so many people are trying to do it that like supposedly there's a slight bug right now that's causing a few people to have to wait in queue and some people get in very quickly. So I guess a lot of these people, but yeah, it was at like 48 hours last time I checked. Now it's at 75 hours to wait. Which
Jesus.
is a long time. but I
Well,
hope on Monday they fix it and maybe expand the servers a little bit to take more people. But
yeah. Yeah, this you know, there's also Diablo 4, as you were saying. A lot of people having a lot of fun with that. I've been seeing
yeah, it got great reviews.
Most streamers are just pivoting to D4, and honestly, I played so much D3. I've just been so busy with editing and YouTube content for Snap. It's like it's kind of my livelihood to make content on this, you know. So this is my number one. And then maybe I'll have time for a little D4 on Monday. But
you've been watching any D4?
No, I haven't. I haven't been doing anything, dude. I've been so swamped. I watched Little Mermaid in theaters 2 days ago, and then I watched Spider-Verse.
Wow.
I watched Spider-Verse last night.
Crushing the theater game. I haven't seen. There's been like 5 movies I've wanted to see in theaters, and I haven't. I wanted to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I have not seen that yet. Yeah. Spider-Verse just came out. Little Mermaid wasn't on my list, you know, but after your glowing review, you just said.
I mean, it was good. So I've seen 4 movies this year in theaters.
Oh, this year you've only seen 4, and they've all 3 of them have been in the last week.
Two of them have been the last week. Yeah. So my number one film is Spider-Verse. There were audio issues for me, which everyone has said that actually.
That's a common thing, yeah.
So I was like, damn, if there were no audio issues. Also, there were a bunch of like teenagers yelling in my theater, and I was like, oh, this is why I kind of stopped going to the movie theaters pre-pandemic stuff. Yeah, but yeah, teenagers yelling every time they saw a new Spider-Man. They're just like, Spider-Man. I'm like, please let me just watch the film. But so Spider-Verse is still number one for me, and if watching in a home theater, I think would be even better. But yeah, Spider-Verse.
I should wait for it to be a home
if they're
theater.
Still having sound issues and there's teenagers hooting and hollering, then yes. But maybe go in a couple weeks when there's not as many people yelling.
But
yeah,
I live in New York City, where the theaters are constantly loud. I feel like, especially for Marvel releases, people love to like shout out Marvel stuff all the time.
Yeah. Second best movie for me, Dungeons and Dragons. I thought that was fantastic.
That's another one I've been wanting to see. That's actually out now on some streaming things.
That was very good. I didn't expect it to be good. The way it felt to me, it kind of reminded me of Guardians 1. When I first saw Guardians, I was like, damn, I didn't expect this to be good. And that feeling, I was like, I love this film when I first saw it. Third film for me would be Super Mario. And then fourth would be Little Mermaid. They were all great films, but yeah.
So you haven't seen Guardians yet either?
No, I wanted to watch it. I was supposed to watch it with Cozy, but we just didn't find time.
Wow.
So maybe
didn't find time when High Evo didn't even come out, and you guys couldn't find time to watch it.
It's well, it's 2 hours ahead over there where we met up, and
I see.
It didn't work out because OTA happens at 8 p.m. So theaters are kind of closed around then.
That's true.
Which is 10 p.m. 10 p.m. over there. That didn't make sense. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of my free time, I guess, watching movies.
I've been doing the lesser movies, and by lesser I mean I think they're actually better than movies now. TV shows. I've been spending my time doing some TV show stuff, and I think there's some correct TV shows going on this year. One of the greatest TV shows just ended. Succession, if you haven't seen that, highly recommend.
I saw 2 episodes of the new season, and then I forgot about it. And also, I was using my brother's HBO Max, and then I lost it. So he
no
canceled.
Longer HBO Max. Now it's just Max.
Oh yeah, sorry, Max.
Which is a joke. And then another TV show I highly recommend that's airing right now, not sponsored, is Silo. I would highly recommend that show on Apple TV.
Shiloh, is that the one with the dog?
Silo.
I know.
It's a yeah. I thought you actually misheard. But yes, it's Shiloh Returns. But no, the show is like a post-apocalyptic, like future sci-fi kind of show. Very cool.
The problem for me, I do like shows, and there's a lot of really good content out there. Films, they seem longer, but they're only 2 hours. A show is like 10 plus hours for a season generally.
Yeah, so just watch one episode a week as it airs. That's the best. That's fine. It's like a movie, half a movie a week.
Yeah, that's true. Or you could just watch one movie every month.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the quality of TV shows have just gone up so much over the past like 10 years that it's just like it's hard to not watch some of them.
Yeah.
That's a
My favorite is the week to week ones like Last of Us, where you're just, or Succession.
Right.
A lot of people are watching that week to week. That's I like that better than the binge style. Just like, you know, Marvel Snap, a slow drip, 1 card a week, as opposed to Hearthstone, you dump it all at once and you have your fun for a few days. So
yeah, I do think all the best shows have been like the week to week ones recently. Like I think like Better Call Saul. There was
yeah.
Did you watch that? You watched
I
that
did, yeah.
well?
Yeah, I finished.
Like that one was good. And then like last year, or I don't even know if it was last year. I think it was last year. Severance was like one that everyone was talking about week to week.
I didn't watch that, but that's on my backlog that I will never get to.
Never get to. You know,
just like my Steam backlog. I mean, I bought Guardians of the Galaxy, the game for Steam. Never played it. I bought Dead Space. I wanted to play that on stream, and I never played it. Got Diablo 4. I bought the collector's edition, the $100 bundle.
I bought the ultimate one too. Yeah, I have not touched it since.
I bought it for early access.
The early access, yeah, exactly. I didn't play the early access. I don't even know when it goes live officially. Is it already live officially?
I don't think so. I think that's on like Tuesday. We're running late here, and we probably lost most people. People probably don't care about this part. Should we cut it up here soon?
Let's wrap it.
If anyone's still listening, let us know. If you're watching the YouTube video, post it in the comments. If you're watching on the other platforms, leave a nice review saying nice things about how pleasant Dera is.
And congrats to Dekkster for winning Twitch Rivals.
Yeah,
is that your first Snap tournament win? First of many?
Snap tournament, yes. First of many.
So you won,
who knows?
You won Hearthstone tournaments?
Yeah, I won a Twitch Rivals Hearthstone tournament with Kriparian.
Oh wow, you guys are crack. Oh, Crip wins all of his Twitch Rivals.
But that was like those were like teams of like 4 or 5, I think. So
yeah.
And I won
awesome.
a Doritos bowl that's in gold.
Do you use it?
It's behind me. I'm pointing at it in my camera. You can't see that right now, but do I use it? No. It's not very functional. Although I guess it could be if there was like some sort of situation where all the bowls in the world disappeared, I could use my trophy to eat from.
Nice.
But yeah.
Thanks.
There are a lot of Snap tournaments coming up. I've been invited to a few, but I've actually turned down most of them.
I also had to turn down there. I don't know.
I don't know if we can talk about them, but
yeah, I was about to say there. I have also turned down like 2 or 3 that I can't make it to, unfortunately. But
yeah, I'll talk to you about this off the camera. But yeah. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it if you make it to the end. It's smooches. We love you.
Love you much. See you guys later.
Bye.